All right, what's up, guys? This is Eric Kaz or Crypto Kaz on Twitter, and this is my Bitmex tutorial. I haven't seen a lot of good, or actually, I haven't really seen any really good Bitmex tutorials out there, and so I thought I would throw one together for you guys to teach you how to do some leverage trading on Bitmex. So, first of all, Bitmex is a trading platform that offers users to trade with up to 100 times leverage. That's just on Bitcoin, though. On the other coins, you can't go up to 100, but for Bitcoin, you can go to 100 times leverage. Um, you don't actually trade a physical coin on Bitmex, you just trade a contract. It's a perpetual contract. They explain that in their frequently asked questions, but that's not super important for this tutorial, so we're not going to dive into that too much. So quick disclaimer, Bitmex is really risky because you can trade with really high leverage. If you're a beginner, I would ask you to stick to 3 to 5 times leverage and play it very safely. Keep in mind that sometimes the Bitmex system overloads, which is kind of sketchy, and then you can't exit or enter positions. So it's definitely risky, but I'm going to do my best to help you guys mitigate your risk. So to set up a Bitmex account, you just go to bitmex.com. Well, it's gonna sign me in automatically. Whatever. All you have to do is click register. It's super easy. You fill out 4 things like name, email address, country of origin. They don't verify your identity in any way. So yeah, super easy to set up. No fee to deposit, so you can get yourself up and running on Bitmex pretty quickly. One thing I want to add is that Bitmex has been talking quite a bit about how they're cracking down on not letting people in the US use the platform because they don't want to deal with the SEC. So if you are in the United States, use caution, use a VPN if you would still like to use Bitmex and have that VPN on whenever you are accessing the Bitmex platform. Um, I've heard ExpressVPN is the best one, so I'm sure I could help you set up one of those if you need it. But yeah, make sure you use a VPN if you are trading on Bitmex and you're in the United States. So let's get right into this. On Bitmex, you can go long or short. If you're entering a long position, that means you're betting on the price to go up. And if you're entering a short position, you're betting on the price to go down. Just the basic types of orders. Not all exchanges will let you short, but Bitmex is one of the ones that does. So in this bear market that we've been in for a really long time, as you probably know, you could have been making some money the whole time. Wow, that 3-day chart looks ugly. Anyway, so the types of leverage, anywhere between 1 and 100 for Bitcoin. On Ethereum, you can go up to 50 times leverage, and then alts have 20 times leverage. So, but like I said, for beginners, please stick to 3 times 5 leverage. If you don't know what leverage trading is, it's basically where you use borrowed money as funding when you invest so that you can take on bigger positions. So in this account, I just put 0.1 in because I wanted to deposit to get it all set up. So I put 0.1 Bitcoin in here. So if I'm doing 10 times leverage, I can, oh, sorry about that. I can trade with up to 1 Bitcoin worth. See, the cost would be available balance 0.1. The order value of that would be 1 Bitcoin. And I guess the cost is slightly above because of some fees and whatnot. Let's see. So right there is the biggest order I could do, get 0.98 Bitcoin. So yeah, if I enter this position, I'm trading with 1 Bitcoin worth of value in that position, but the margin that I am funding that position with is just a tenth if I'm using 10 times leverage, with 5 times leverage, I wouldn't even be able to enter this because the cost would be right here 0.19 Bitcoin. So I could only enter half that, roughly 1,800 contracts. For Bitcoin, the contract value is $1. That's why the price of Bitcoin here on Bitmex is equivalent to the price on other exchanges most of the time. Except recently, we've been seeing quite the fluctuations with that. So that's leverage trading. Hopefully, you'll understand that. If that's not enough of an explanation, please feel free to reach out to me and I can help you understand that a little better. And then another thing with leverage trading comes liquidation. So when you enter a position, I won't actually enter it, but I'll just say, let's say I want to short at this price. Okay, so this pops up when you try to enter a position. What the order value is, the cost at 10 times leverage, what your balance is, position size, mark price. That just means for mark price, they take the prices from a couple different exchanges to calculate it. So it's the average. I think it's like 50% Coinbase, 25% Kraken, something like that. Also not the most important thing. And then it'll show your estimated liquidation price. So liquidation is one of the dangers with leverage trading. Liquidation basically means that if price reaches this liquidation point, your position will be automatically closed, and it'll be zero. It'll be worthless. So with 10 times leverage, a 10% move in the opposite direction will liquidate you. With 5 times leverage, you'll need a 20% move in the opposite direction to liquidate you. If you're crazy and you're using 50 times leverage, it doesn't even have to move very much at all and you'll get liquidated. So that's why it can be really dangerous. But keep in mind that the liquidation is just of the position that you would currently be in, and you can't lose anything more from your balance. You can only lose what was in that position. Bitcoin also offers cross leverage. This basically means that I think I said Bitcoin offers it. You can use it. Any coin has cross leverage. That's kind of the standard that it sets it to. But cross leverage basically is that Bitmex uses your full amount of funds to minimize your chance of liquidation. So to use the max amount of your funds so that your liquidation price is furthest away. I personally don't really use it. I usually just trade with 10x leverage because I can handle that type of risk and I like the returns that you can get with it. Even though I don't use it, I know a lot of people do, so it's definitely a solid option. Okay, so now that we've gone through leverage, let's talk a little bit about the types of orders. So if you're familiar with trading, you know that with a limit order, it will put your order into the order book and then you need to get filled. With a market order, it'll execute your trade right away. This costs a higher fee on Bitmex. I'll get into fees in a little bit. And then stop market, I suggest you always use a stop market versus a stop limit, just because, like I said, Bitmex can be a little sketchy, and you want to make sure that you are 100% out of the position if your stop loss hits. So, with that being said, I would always recommend you use a stop market order. They also have a stop limit, trailing stop, take profit limit, take profit market. I don't use these too much, but if you want to, they're here for you. You can use them. Another important thing on Bitmex, the fees are a little different on Bitmex than other exchanges. So if you do a limit order, they pay you to execute a limit order. So if you put your position in the order book and it gets filled, you'll get paid a small fee. If you do a market order, though, you pay a pretty hefty fee in comparison to other exchanges. I personally don't like to do market orders just because of the fee that you have to pay. But like I said, with your stop market or with your stop loss, you should always use a market order. But in general, just try and do a limit order to get in and get out, just so that you're not paying a fee. And then another important thing, so down here you can see this funding rate, or well, predicted rate. So it says the number shown here is the predicted funding rate for the next funding period. And this is also a little unique because most crypto exchanges don't have this. But basically, Bitmex will pay you to be in a position, depending on what kind of position you're in. So these fund rates are actually really important. So this next one right here, longs will receive 0.0961% and shorts will pay 0.0961% at 8 p.m. PST. Bitmex does not charge fees on funding payments. So Bitmex pays you to be in a position, basically, or it could charge you to be in a position. So that is pretty important, because if you're playing with a huge position size, like the market makers or the whales, they're not going to want to pay these fees, even if they're small. And so there typically tends to be a lot of action when funding is coming up. So right now, there's funding in 6 minutes, and it's a negative number, which means, like it says here, the longs are being paid and the shorts are losing money. So that's just another important thing to keep in mind, um, because that can have some impacts on the market. But the charts here, as you can probably see, is from TradingView. You can add indicators on it, do whatever you like. You got all these tools just like on normal TradingView, so that's pretty convenient. You can actually customize what is shown here and how big it is. Like if I want this to be smaller, oh, that's not it. If I want it to be bigger, I can do that. And then you can see massive order book. You can move these around. Let's see. If I want these to be in different spots, I can do that. Oh, there it is. You can make it smaller, really tall. There's a lot of customization available. I like to keep it simple. This is how I have it set up. If you want one of their preset, you can just do basic or advanced. There's also a light and dark color theme. There's light, dark. The advanced one looks a little bit like this. So yeah, lots of customization available to you, different color themes. Here it'll say your total account. It says how long until there is funding. Tells you the time. If you go to account, it'll say all your transaction history, contracts. You can read some of that. References, API. This is basically if you want to send someone your API keys to trade on your account. But yeah, so this is how I have mine set up. Those are the basics of Bitmex. If you want to sign up and need a link, I can give you mine. If you don't want to use a link, just go to the website. It is fine with me either way. But yeah, that concludes the tutorial. So good luck. Let's hope Bitcoin doesn't keep dumping. And let me know if you guys have any questions on how to use Bitmex. Thanks, guys.